iRacing just released a bunch of information on the future of the sim, and I think you should watch this video as we'll be speculating and going into the depth about what they said in the blog post yesterday. So first of all is the list of new tracks, and this is a really long list. There's a lot of new tracks that are in development that they're working on, and they'll be releasing very soon. First of all, we have Algarve Portimao, which I'm really looking forward to because this track looks really fun. I used to drive it on Project Cars 2 back when I played that, and just endurance racing here is going to be really good. On top of that, we have Misano, Mugello, something called whatever, man. A track called Ledinen, and the new track scan of Sandboard. Now, the new track scan of Sandboard will be dropping in September for the 23 Season 4 update. And if you already own Sandboard, you will get the new track update for free. And if you buy it in the future, you'll kind of get both of them combined. And then for the last new track, they have something called Navarro, which I had a look at the track layout. It looks quite interesting, but I've never heard of it before. As for the other side of things, they're currently working on a track called Winchester Speedway and Slinger Speedway. And in September, they're going to be dropping a new track called Kern. They also mentioned that they'll be revisiting the UK, which makes for new tracks like Thruxton maybe to be added in the future of the sim. After that, Greg Hill moves on to talk a bit about how they are updating the current tracks that are already there, you know, making them look better, making them feel a little bit better maybe. And he mentions that they're going to be revisiting or reworking some of the current tracks like Brandhedge, Okayama, Alton Park, as well as some NASCAR and other oval tracks. Now, what he means by this is that they're mainly going to be giving them a graphic overhaul, like updating the curbs colors, like they did with Sebring a couple of seasons ago, updating how the graphics looks and just making them look quite a bit better. Now, something exciting and actually quite surprising to me is that he mentions that they've brought back the 3D curb project and it's progressing well. Now, he ends this paragraph with saying that you will be amazed by how significantly this addition will affect your racing line. Now, I don't know if I'm stupid, but I actually already thought that the curbs were like properly modeled and shit. But if you think about it, there's actually not that much like rumble. You basically just hear the sound in your car and you don't really feel it in the force feedback. So I'm excited to see how this will affect the racing line and maybe make the curbs a little bit more like R-Factor or something, where you kind of really have to decide what curbs you want to ride and what curbs you have to stay off of, because you can feel it a lot in the force feedback. Now, he continues the post by saying that speaking of the racing line, such significant progress has been made these past weeks on our rain project. He mainly mentions how significant the rain actually will be on track, how much you actually will have to change your racing line depending on different conditions. Say if it's raining a lot, you'll probably have to take a completely different line going off the rubber than what you will have to do in maybe less damp conditions, where you can be a bit more on the racing line without sliding too much. Now, he mentions as well that it is possible to slide the car to a degree, which I think is positive, because the current tire model that we have in dry weather, basically if you have a slide, you pray to God and hope that it's not worse, and if you slide once again, you might as well stop there and reconsider what you're doing with your life. Now, he ends the talk about rain saying, expect a more technical deep dive when we're closer to the release of this ongoing project. Now, I'm not one to sit here and complain, but like, can we please have it soon? We've been waiting for so long. And I'm quite excited to see how it's gonna turn out. And I'm not saying that they should release an unfinished product, but I just really want rain in iRacing. Anyways, he moves on talking about how iRacing's team has actually expanded a lot, with a car/track dev team doubling in size. On top of that, their animation team has doubled in size, and here actually mentions that GT3 pit stops have received significant research as of late. Which does this mean that we're finally going to be getting animated pit stops to the road side of iRacing? We don't know, but I think it could be really good, because currently when you're parked in the box, God just lifts up your car, you're flying, and then you roll off again. So I think animated pit stops will finally be a good addition to road. We don't know if that's what it means, but we hope. On top of that, the tire/physics team has tripled in size, which, as I was talking about before, I think is good, because the current tire model is a bit strange, let's say it like that. Overall, I think the expansion of the iRacing team is really going to make a really positive change. I think that having more people working on a project, working towards something, is going to like exponentially work out way better. So I think this is a big thing for iRacing, that they're hopefully going to improve their sim quite a lot. Now, there is still some really exciting information coming up. Before we get into that, if you are enjoying this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, let's move on. The team has invested the better part of the last year overhauling and modernizing the architecture and preparing for many new systems to better leverage multi-threading and tasking. That sounds very nerdy, but basically they're improving the way the game performs on different PCs, so you can run a bit higher graphics, a bit like that. And here he says as well, you will see more of this coming season, as the car count unique cars, not field size, is increased substantially. Now, the last couple of seasons, we have gotten small increases, like 1. I think we went from 7, then we went to 8, and now we're at 9 cars, different cars you can use. But saying substantially, does that mean we're gonna get like 12 different cars or something? Now, we're getting close to the end of this post, but we have some quite interesting information at the end. He says that our road racing licensing system will see a significant addition in the near future as we look to improve the experience of racing in cars with dramatically different characteristics. Now, does this mean that we'll get different licensing systems for Formula cars and GT cars, an example? It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it does imply that, you know, different cars could have different licensing systems, which I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I personally don't ever really race like Formula cars. So for me, as an example, I would like have a high rating in LMDH or something like it, but my Formula rating would be completely in the bottom. I don't know how I feel about that, but you know, we'll see how it turns out. On top of that, he mentions that our sim UI is being replaced by a modern and designer-friendly UI framework that will transform the in-sim experience. Finally, it looks like we're going to be getting a new UI in the iRacing game, because these white bars really, like, they piss me off. It makes the game look so old. It makes it look like it's from the 18th century or something like that. He also says that the new UI will be highly flexible, so you can basically hopefully customize it as you like. But what I just need is something that looks a little bit more modern than the ugly white bars, because yeah, I don't know why it pisses me off so much. Now, coming to the final bit of this post. Something quite interesting, maybe quite crazy, maybe something some people won't use at all, but let's just have a look at it anyways. He mentions that they've long planned to deliver more value and a more expansive product experience to customers. Expect deep new sim systems and ways to engage with the product, with initial focus on a realistic and engaging career mode that is being built true to the authentic nature of what iRacing and real world racing is all about. So we're gonna be getting an iRacing career mode. Now this just sounds really weird in my mind, because iRacing has always been about the multiplayer part of it. It's always been about racing against real life competitors from all around the globe. But now we're getting this career mode, which I think some people is actually really gonna enjoy. I think they take this from the success of the F1 games career mode, because they've been really successful. Now, if they want to do this, I think they really have to do a good career mode game, because if you look at something like Project Cars 2 or something like it, you know, it's just not really an engaging career mode. Anyways, let's say that you're already deeply involved in sim racing and you're wanting to become a professional sim racer, but you don't really know where to start. I've got this video for you, which will help you along the way. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.